do you make of the numbers? You heard Mangalam as well.
Afternoon, Prashant. No, I think it is a top-down beat, and Mangalam rightly pointed out, I think the volume growth much better than what the estimates on the street were. At the same time, if you're probably looking at the product mix itself, the expectations with rationalization happening on the GST front will bring about better volume growth as we head into the second half, including festivities which are probably spilled over in Q3. And therefore, I think the large expectations from the market is reasonable volume growth going ahead, a better product mix, input costs remain very, very stable as we speak, and competition intensity has probably plateaued off. So I think very good set of numbers by Asian Paints.
Mayuresh, the stock is still a long way away from the all-time high. Now, I don't want to jump the gun, but I think the record highs for the stock were closer to 3,500. Now, I don't want to say that is it time to look at those levels or, will long-term Asian Paints believers come back or not? But beyond this quarter, would you be inclined to expect some of that aggression to come back from Asian Paints? And maybe I can toss that to Mangalam as well. So just very quickly, Mayuresh, your first thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I think the new entrant which had come in the form of Birla Opus, I think the numbers there seem to be plateauing as well. And that gives us to the thesis that if you look at the market share of organized players and the unorganized market share for the paint industry as a whole, there is still a long way to go. And therefore, I think better organized leadership stocks like Asian Paints might actually benefit because they've got a diverse product mix to begin with. They've got a huge dealer distribution network. They're adding on value-added products as well. And they're innovating as we speak. Therefore, these attributes should probably aid earnings growth going.
I think these are exactly the kind of things that you'll find in management textbooks, right, Mangalam? Because you have an incumbent, a giant of an entity, and then you have two hugely deep-pocketed groups coming in, the Birlas and JSW. And if Asian Paints manages to pull this off, come back on its, in its own, it'll be quite something. But your quick thoughts on whether this can be seen as a bit of a turnaround or it's too early? Well, with that, let's go back to Mayuresh with some more ideas. Mayuresh, we're going to talk about the overall market, but clearly Asian Paints just stole the thunder. Otherwise, if you talk about some of the other major, results of the day, anything stood out? Last 24 hours, there's been a whole host of earnings in terms of reactions. As we're in the final leg of trade, I'm just going to quickly look at what's looking the brightest. Obviously, BSE, Max Financial, most of these stocks, Kirloskar Oil, all of them holding up with gains. Anything else that makes the cut for you on earnings?
Specifically, Surabhi, if you ask me over the last 24 hours, I think BSE obviously, had a very good set of numbers, and the expectation largely is that even if you are now moving to weekly expiries, the expectation of whether there was a significant dent in terms of the dates that moved against BSE, I think whether that creates a huge amount of volume and value dent, that probably didn't play out. So if you probably compare NSE numbers and BSE numbers are a tad bit better. And therefore, capital market participants over a medium-term play, including platforms like BSE, should continue doing well in our opinion. The other two numbers which stood out, which you mentioned, even Prashant, I think Kirloskar Oil Engine and Parag Milk. Kirloskar Oil specifically, if you probably look at the standalone numbers, the kind of growth that you've probably seen in industrial gensets, the expectations in terms of the power gensets expected to do well, the replacement market holding up in terms of margins and value, and the overall standalone EBITDA margins with working capital maintained at 30-35 odd days. I think the B2B numbers for Kirloskar Oil are priming up quite nicely. And therefore, I think if you look at the consolidated performance, including its subsidiaries, holding up very well. Even for Parag Milk as an example, I think the core categories which account for 59%, including the likes of cheese, paneer, ghee, have actually done well. Standard liquid milk, the procurement has been decent at 14 lakh litres a day, 38 rupees was the average cost. And therefore, I think the expectation largely is that with rationalization happening even on this front, volume and value growth should drive numbers even in Q3, Q4. In fact, even its peer, Hudson Agro, had a very decent set in the recent few weeks.
We're still in conversation with Mayuresh Joshi. Mayuresh, one of the disappointments of the last hour has been HAL. Yes, Asian Paints numbers are good and we've got various other numbers beats, but HAL, the street is pinning its hopes on bigger and better things coming. And since defense is one of those, points of prime importance for our government as well as a nation, this one's disappointing actually on margins and profitability.
Afternoon, Nigel. So I think it's impossible for defense companies to probably have a consistent execution plan every passing quarter. And therefore, I think in the quarter gone by, it was a monsoon-ridden quarter, and there would have been some execution challenges thereof. Having said that, I think the kind of order book that HAL is sitting on, I think it's more than 1.9 lakh crores, if I'm not mistaken, and it is almost 6 times the trailing 12-month revenue, which gives a very, very healthy revenue visibility. That's point one. The second point, obviously, is that the kind of projects and contracts that are coming their way, LCA aircrafts, 12 Su-30 MKA fighters, light combat helicopters, naval utility helicopters. And therefore, I think this entire aspect in terms of not just the existing pipeline, the kind of capex that HAL is probably expanding upon, more than 14,000 odd crores in terms of capex for expanding capacities, will mean that the margins will get maintained around 30-31 odd percent. ROE should get sustained with reasonable execution over a longer period of time at 21-22 odd percent, with ROCs at 28-29%. So execution for a quarter or two might be off, but generally I think over a longer period of time, it's a damn good play as far as defense is concerned. So everybody holding should continue.
Okay, that's HAL coming down to the final leg. Very quickly, Mayuresh, before we wind up for the day, Bajaj Finance. Yesterday was a day of disappointment. Now, what did you make of things, and whether you'd still be a buyer?
So we continue to remain optimistic on leadership stocks like Bajaj Finance within the NBFC space. I think yesterday's numbers and the commentary specifically in terms of the AUM degrowth that the management probably gave out for FY26 is something that probably took the sheen off and the stock rightfully corrected. But if you look forward, I think if you probably look into FY27, the expectations of reasonable and strong advances growth coming through, specifically in core categories of consumer durables and consumer discretionary as well, I think that should start picking up steam as we head into Q3. The second aspect obviously is that for bigger rated and better rated NBFCs like Bajaj Finance, the cost of borrowing obviously becomes a lot more cheaper with interest rates going down. And therefore, I think with stronger capital adequacies and a strong control in terms of costs, the asset quality pressure should start waning off, automatically leading to better leverage and return ratios as well. So yes, I think a disappointing set in Q2, but expectation largely is that it should start recovering. And therefore, I think within NBFCs, we focus and remain optimistic on stocks like Bajaj Finance.
Okay. All right, Mayuresh, thank you very much for that. Well, with that, let's quickly start recapping